Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today, as of recording this video at least, we got the official confirmation and reveal of the Tales of collab that we're having with our little slime Isekai Memories game. And as typical, this also brings some EX upgrades and some skill fusions along with it. So today, we're going to go back through the live stream, look at those. This is not currently active in-game yet because the collab doesn't drop until Thursday night for me, and it's currently Monday. So we have a little bit of time until this actually pops in. But I figured we could still talk about them anyways. That way people have a heads up in knowing, who I think is actually worth skill fusing or not, if any. So, a lot of skill fusions do end up kind of just being meh. So let's go ahead and bring up the live stream. And first off, we have this. We have the three primary skill fusions that we're getting as of right now, at least. And it is for the free ticket EX Yome, who's very, very old at this point, the World of Fantasy Shizu, and the Wielder of Magic / second anniversary Shizu. Now, the meta itself, the Tales of collab, the team is going to be focused on the World of Fantasy meta, since it's coming from a game and everything. So this should be okay. And I do have the notes for this, so I have the translations. Alright, so skill fusions for EXiome. Currently, let's go find their characters and what they do, current, like right now. EXiome, not a character people really look at a lot. He is mostly a defensive character. Where are you? There you are. Mostly a defensive character. He's an orb changer, but he's very, very old, and he's kind of like how Isis and Kyokyo are on only tickets. He is also only on tickets. So this is actually his first skill. It's his defense skill, which I don't even have leveled up all the way. So if we were to have it fully leveled up, it would be giving everybody 30% defense for 3 turns, and crit resistance for 40% for 3 turns. So in fights where you definitely need defense against high damaging enemies that use crit, then yes, he will be very, very good. But the skill fusion makes him a little bit better. Because we look at this, it's now dropping the skill cost from 25 points to 15, and it is giving everybody a 50% 3-turn defensive buff, and has added Pierce into his defense as well. So he's getting an extra 20% defense, dropping the cost by 10 points, upping the actual defensive ability of the crit to 50%, and then adding Pierce resistance, which means that he is a very viable defensive oriented character for 15 points. Extra defense, adding Pierce resistance on top of the crit resistance, and then just upping that total 40% to 50 for 3 turns. It's not bad. Is it really worth skill fusing? If you have him, if you really, really need that extra defense because you're trying to reckon or something, and he is a green orb changer, so I mean you could use him there. I mean, I could see value in him being defensively focused and going into like one of the Jubilee stages in case you already have enough damage and you need more defense to take 1 damage per hit to get that max score. Like that could be viable right there. So definitely is not terrible. Alright, next up we have World of Fantasy Shizu. Very, very old unit. She was the second ever EX meta. She's already had 1 skill fusion, which I haven't actually done. I don't even know what it does. Attack and the skill point increase, sure. No, this new skill fusion obviously is hitting her orb change. So currently it's 15 points, changes 1 orange to 1 green, and gives you that 10% all gauge increase. So, I mean, yeah, it's fine. It is just 1 orb. But the skill fusion ups the cost from 15 to 25, but it now makes it an unrestricted green convert. So any 2 orbs that are not currently green will be changed to green, and then retains that 10% all gauge increase, which makes her now a little bit more versatile, because now she's doing a double orb change. It could be any color. Like, that's fairly useful. Whether or not we use this Shizu as a mainline support character is a totally different story. But Wind, has Tournament Stalwart Lumi, and then has almost nothing after that as far as AoE wind damage. So, I mean, she could be an okay substitute while having a better orb change now. It doesn't, break the bank or anything. She's not a godly unit now that her orb change is a double. But it does make her a little bit more useful than what she was, and has been for the past 2 years or something like that. So, it's an okay one. I don't think it's as impactful for her kit directly as, say, Yome's, but it's still a fairly solid skill fusion for what it was beforehand. And finally, we have the Wielder of Magic slash pre-second anniversary Shizu with the Mitzvah art, which went alongside the Hinata. And, she was okay when she came out, and you could definitely use her for a number of different things. The one-time skill reset is cool, and then the alt rush for magic allies definitely is usable. But the skill fusion for her is going to be on her alt rush ability. So, I actually have to retranslate this one because I think I got it a little wrong. So, bear with me real fast while I do this. Okay, so currently increases all magic character allies alt gauge by 30%. So it's an alt rush for magic allies, and then lowers the alt resistance of everybody by 25% for 2 turns. Okay. I'm fairly certain that the skill fusion does not change the fact that it's only magic allies, because that would be this line right here, 30% up. But it does change what it does in the first 4 turns. So this is the new part of this, is that it's still a 30% magic character alt rush, but for turns 1, 2, 3, and 4, it is 60% alt gauge, which is, a hefty amount. So I could actually see this being used, because the Divine General Masked Hero, her alt rush is 30%. This is now doubling that, which means you don't even need as many orbs to get the EX ult in a very quick amount of time for, say, Jubilee normal battles. So you combine that with now a 30% alt resistance down, up from 25, and you know what? It's not that bad. It's really not, because it's not active on turn 5, because you're probably nuking on turn 5, so you would already need the EX ult there, so the alt rush would be unnecessary, and the alt resistance down lasts for 2 turns, so if you use this turn 4, you get the 60% alt rush on your magic team, and this will be active on the nuke turn on turn 5, and you know what? It's not a bad skill. I actually think it is probably the most useful out of these 3 skill fusions for, Jubilee-specific, like normal battles or something, to try and alt rush as quick as possible and give you that extra damage debuff right here. So she might actually be a viable option for people who are trying to get better scores in all of their Jubilee normal battles, because maybe they're missing a little bit of alt gauge. They don't have charms, they don't have the rainbows, they don't have, a way to get 60% alt gauge on top of whatever else they need, or their RNG is awful. Like, this could actually be useful. I can see uses for this. So I think this Shizu got the best skill fusion of the 3. Yome, if you put him on a defense team, like, that will definitely help. And then this Shizu, like, yeah, the skill is better, but it's not incredibly game breaking or anything. And then to go with the skill fusions, we are getting EX upgrades for both of the Shizus that we just got done talking about. So they will have access to EX Unbound status and the extra ability release board. They are already EX units, so that upgrade is not, super duper impactful, but it does make them hit a little bit harder. Sure, why not? And that'll happen when the meta comes out on the 26th. And then on the 11th, we're going to get EX upgrades for Ogre's Pride Shuna and Soe, which is an interesting pick because they're not on the World of Fantasy team. So I wonder if this has something to do with the new Xion that's coming. Although that the 11th is like a week after Xion drops, so I'm not entirely sure what they're going for with these characters, considering we're not in a blue meta. We're in an orange meta, or going to be in an orange meta. So, and we also can't use synergy for the beatdown battle that's coming. Not really sure what they're doing here, but they are getting EX upgrades. And then finally, they're adding the World of Fantasy Force to these three characters. Commander Shisu, Maribel from Festive Memories, and then the brand new Spirit Master transforming Rimuru. Does that really make sense? World of Fantasy for these three characters? Not really, no. But it's a decision, and it does bulk up the force a little bit. I mean, this Shizu is physical. This Maribel is physical, so already they're not at a great point. They're both meant for blue orb teams. Maribel, she is very much locked to a Festive Memories team just in general. So I don't really know what she's gonna do with this addition to the World of Fantasy team that is magic focused. I mean, EX alt damage, yeah, sure. The barriers, yes, but she only gives barriers to Festive Memories characters, which this Tales of collab are not Festive Memories, so I'm not really sure what they're going for here. And then Spirit Master Rimuru, like, he is magic, he is single target, you can transform him, he does get the extra damage and everything, like, that's cool and all that. Where are you? There you are. And then, you know, if you are transformed, you will then have access to the 300% weakness resistance down, which is a hefty debuff, right? And we know that's a hefty debuff. But he's not going to be the nuking character. But you can make him a nuking character, because he'll get that extra force, which means that the new Protector Rimuru will buff him. The beatdown battle is AoE, though. Just keep that in mind. And this Rimuru is very much single target. So, yeah, just try to give him a little bit more viability and usefulness, I guess. So that's, I guess, valid. But that is the skill fusions and EX upgrades for at least the beginning of the Tales of collab. Let me know what you guys think of the skill fusions. Do you agree with me that this Shizu is the best one out of the three? And then you can tell me what you think about these two upgrades and what they're going to do with them. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.